Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. I'm joined by Roby here at Iseli Nursery up in Boring, Oregon. The town of Boring. I say Boring and then I don't want people to think that we're saying it's boring. It's a great town southeast of Portland. There's a video we've already put up together showing some of the interesting introductions that Iseli Nursery has made over the years, and then a few other video pieces of content from this incredible garden here. But I'm gonna stay quiet in this one and let Roby talk about some of the Japanese maples that are in the garden, and you guys have an incredible collection. How many do you grow, you think?
Oh,
different. Yeah, I threw a question that you're not going to know the answer to,
right?
But
exact
a lot.
Numbers, yeah, quite a few. And even in the garden, we have a lot of maples that we may not even have in production. And actually, we have one right over there that we haven't even released yet or named. So it's kind of a hodgepodge, but we have a lot.
Okay, but you're involved in the introduction of them as well, evaluation of them, and a lot of the old cultivars as well.
Certainly, yes.
What sizes are you guys growing them in?
So we don't really sell a lot of 1 gallons, but we do grow 1 gallons. But ultimately, I think 6 and larger would be typically our sizes.
Okay, gotcha. And they've been around the nursery for a while.
Sure,
at the point that they're going out the door. So let's jump into this one right here because it's called Pygmy, and we thought we'd start with an entertaining one.
Yeah, so this is Acer palmatum Sharp's Pygmy, and often when you see the size on this, we list it as a 4x4, but often it can be even as a 2x4. But this one is 40 years old, so given time, it certainly can get large. I think this gives a good indication of what its overall shape and habit would be like. One of the things I really like about this is the tufting nature of the branching structure. Yeah. It's a really nice and open form. And it's kind of a green throughout the summer, and then although it's not quite colored yet, it does have a nice fiery red throughout the fall.
Right. This is an interesting to be shooting this with you on this Japanese maple because Bobby Green, who's down over in Fairhope, Alabama, has introduced a lot of the camellias in the Southern Living Plant Collection, and his dad planted the dwarf camellia varieties in a grouping. And Shishi Gashera and others that are supposed to get this big, and they're 25 feet tall in his garden because they're 40 or 50 years old, and it's just one of those things. These plants don't have an off switch.
Right.
It's just more the rate of growth. If you're seeing something called Pygmy or dwarf or
So realistically, this is going to be a more contained variety, and so despite what this looks like, it is really good for container and patio options or something smaller in a garden.
Perfect. We've missed peak fall color by a little bit on some of the maples in the ground, the ones in the containers, because the roots are exposed or a little more colored up at this point, but still plenty of color, right?
Sure.
Tell us about these two. Are both of these Iseli introductions?
Yeah, we introduced both of these guys. So this first one here, this is Acer palmatum Tobiosho. So this is named after our production manager, Milt Toby. It was a selected seedling, and it's really at its peak fall color right now. One of the great things about this is its fall color. That's kind of its season, and it's a kaleidoscope of colors. So it's yellow, orange to red, just kind of stepping up throughout, and then transitioning to a full kind of burgundy color at the end of its foliage peak.
Wow.
It's about 20 by 15 size-wise.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a nice tree. And then moving down here, we've got Wabi Sabi. So this one is actually a hybrid between the Korean and Japanese maples, one of those in the collection. So this is in the Pacific Rim collection. So this one is a Zone 5 hardy. It's a cascading maple. It's about 7 feet tall by 10 feet wide. It has green foliage in the spring, and one of the nice things about this is the seeds, the samaras, do grow upright, so it has nice red accents on top of the spring foliage in the green spring foliage, and then that transitions to a nice orange and yellow color through the fall.
Wow, and it's just getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my favorite maples in the garden right now. Definitely a showstopper. So this is one of the maples that we have not quite released yet, but we're very excited about. This is called Alpen Glow. The name Alpen Glow comes from the color that you see on the sunset or sunrise on a mountain. And the reason is because these leaf veins are transparent. So when the sun shines through, it has kind of a glow to it. Now this is a Zone 4 hardy, so this will be in addition to our Jack Frost collection, but we're not releasing this until probably the summer or fall of next year. So we're about a year out, but it is going to be a very nice upright maple, again, hardy down to Zone 4. All right, so here's Makawa Yatsubusa. So this is an Acer palmatum that This is one of my favorites. In the spring, it has a nice chartreuse color and it really stands out in the garden. This is another one where this is a very large specimen. I think I measured this one at about 13 feet tall, whereas we listed it as a 6x4 size. So it's a pretty slow grower. It is one that would be good for containers, for patios, for smaller yards, but ultimately it's a beautiful maple regardless. And in the fall, it has a nice fire red color. One of the great things about this also, it has a layering effect on the leaves. So it's almost like tiles on a roof. It's a very interesting form. All right, so this is one of our hybrid maples again. So this is Origami. This is in our Pacific Rim collection, which means it's hardy to a zone 5. This is a Pygmy, so it's going to be a slower growing maple. This is actually rather large for it, so we're listing it as an 8x8 size. It is a slower grower. Origami comes from the name of this new growth, which is really interesting. It resembles a paper crane, so it's very folded as it comes out into a nice green color throughout the season, and then it turns to more of a orangey bronze color in the fall. One of the great things about this, although it's not readily obvious, is in the winter it has a really interesting structure. So there's an undulating branch form, a lot of curvature throughout the structure. So it's definitely an all-season plant in my opinion. All right, so this is actually one of the newer sections of the garden that we just redid about a month ago. And it's centered around 2 maples. So this is Sumaki. This is an existing maple that was overshadowed by some large conifers that are no longer in this area. This really is a spring interest maple. It has a nice chartreuse color leaf with an edge of red. It's really an amazing maple, about I'd say 7x10. So it's a broad upright. And then moving over here, I've got another one called Little Sango. So Little Sango is more of a winter interest. One of the things with this section of the garden is we wanted to maintain a low profile of the plant so that on a clear day you can see Mount Hood and the farm out this way from the office. So this is going to be a 6x4 size, so it's a slower growing, smaller maple. And the location is important because we have nice evergreens in the background, so when it has that orangey red color throughout the winter, it really showcases nicely against that dark green background. All right, this is Acer palmatum dissectum atropurpureum. It's a mouthful, but it's a beautiful plant. This is really functioning as an anchor plant for this area. We have a lot of smaller specimens throughout this area, and this really unifies this space. It provides a nice backdrop, and underneath it has an amazing structure. So it's certainly a winter interest plant, certainly once it gets of a size. And it's about to transition to a beautiful, like orangey red fall color. All right, this is Arctic Jade. So this is part of a Jack Frost collection. So it is a hardy to zone 4 maple. 20x15 is our sizing on this. It has a beautiful green color throughout the season and then transitions first to a wine color and then transitions to a yellow and orange, which is just starting to get into right now. Probably some of the most beautiful photos that we have in our library are of this one. It really does look nice in the fall. And it also has deeply lobed leaves, which give it kind of almost a tropical look if you look up close.
We were going to do 10, and we've hardly moved. There's probably another 60 we could talk about in this garden. Yes. This is so impressive. Again, we're missing some are at peak color, some are not quite. You're never going to get them all in a single shoot like this. That's where you're lucky and you get to be here every day. Absolutely. And you'll definitely see them all at peak color.
Yep.
Yeah, we just get a window into it. So tell us about the last one.
All right, so this is Cascadia. So Acer pseudocibolianum Cascadia. This is part of our Pacific Rim collection. So this is a hardy to zone 5. It's a 7x10. It has it's more of a horizontal structure. It's an upright, but it definitely goes a lot more laterally. It's a green maple, and then in the fall, it turns into more of a yellow and orange color. Really nice color.
Yeah, what kind of temperatures did you guys have this summer?
This summer we got up to 109,
which is way hotter than a normal.
The hottest temperature we've ever gotten into in August, and I often go into colder temperatures for these, but the pseudocibolianum mixes also have a tolerance for some more heat.
That's what I was asking about, because I would thought we'd seen a little more burn on it at 109 degree temperatures you've had on them.
They're just a really tough plant overall. They tolerate snow loads better because they have a stronger structure, but they ultimately are going to handle colder and warmer temperatures better than some other maples.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much, Roby, for being in two of the videos here. And we could just stay here all week and shoot, but unfortunately, we're out of here to the next place. But it was a great 3 days of filming. Thank you so much.
Thank you.